Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain in ASP.NET Core with console application how to create a first entity framework migration tables into SQL Server database. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a new ASP.NET Core console application, first we'll create a new database in SQL Server Management Studio. I just logged into my SQL Server Management Studio. I'm expanding the root folder. In this root folder, notice the databases. Let me expand that folder. Right now there is no any custom databases. Now let's create a new user database. Select the database, right click the mouse, click new database. And let's give the database name is Charan. The database Charan is my user database. Click OK. And here the database has been created successfully. Let me expand this Charan database. After that, and notice in this Charan database there is a tables folder. Let me expand that one. Now let's add the migration tables into this database using entity framework in ASP.NET Core console application. For this video tutorial, I am creating a new project and I am selecting the console app.NET Core. Click next. Let's give the application name is Core Entity Framework Migration. Click create. Now first in this project, when we are dealing with any particular database, we require the necessary DLL libraries. So first let's install the necessary DLL libraries for SQL Server database. Select the project name, right click the mouse, manage netted packages, select that one, go to browse and search for entity framework SQL Server. Select that one, click install. Click OK. I accept the license. And notice here we got the green download button, which means this package is installed successfully. Let me expand this dependencies folder. In this dependencies folder, notice the packages is added. Here we got this Microsoft.Entity Framework Code.SQL Server. And next one, we require the Entity Framework Code.Tools also. So I'm selecting that package also. Click install. Click OK. I accept the license. And the tools package is also installed successfully. Let me minimize these packages and the dependencies folder. And now let's close this Nugget package window, which we don't require. And after that, now we'll add one models folder to create the properties. So select the application name, right click the mouse, add new folder. The folder name is models. Now in this models folder, we'll create a new class. Right click the models folder, add, go to class. Let's create the class. Just for the demo purpose, I'm adding, it's a student class. Student, the class name is student, enter. And here we got our student class. Now in the student class, I'm just defining the properties. So this class is a POCO class. We need to add the key, Alt enter. Notice here when I press Alt enter, I got some suggestions. We need to add this namespace using system.componentModel.data annotations. So add that one, double click that one. Here the data annotations is added successfully. After that, we'll add the properties. The reason I'm adding the key tag is it will create the primary key of the table. So prop, double tap, it will create the property, the integer type. First one is student ID. Let's create the prop. Second tab is string, is student name, and prop string the data type is and email. the property name is. Just for the demo purpose, I am adding only the 3 properties, and these 3 properties will be the column in our migration tables. So after adding the properties in the student class, next step we'll add one DB context class. So after adding the properties in the student class, next step we require one DB context class. So for that we'll add one new folder. Again select the application name, right click the mouse, add new folder. The folder name is data context. Now in this data context folder we'll add one class. So select the right click the mouse, add, select the class, and the class name is application DB context. Add, and here we got our application DB context class. Now in this application DB context class I am inheriting the DB context. So DB context. So this DB context belongs to Microsoft.Entity Framework. So after that, now in this DB context class I am adding my SQL Server connection string. For that I am adding the protected override void. I'm adding the method called onConfiguring, C capital, onConfiguring DB context options builder. Let's create the options builder. Now inside this method I am adding my connection string, SQL Server connection string option builder dot use SQL Server between double quotes. So this use SQL Server method takes a string parameter which is a connection string. So let's add the connection string. So to get the proper connection string of the SQL Server, notice the Server Explorer, expand that one, and this data connections, right click that one, add connection. So my SQL Server name is this one, desktop -pbudeom. After that I'm selecting the database which we have created, Charan. Click text connection, it succeeded, okay. And now let's get the connection string of this database. When I select this database, notice here in the properties there is a data source, copy that one and simply paste here. That's it. And add here @ symbol, semicolon. After that we need to add the entity, the student class. For that let's import using system dot not system, my application name is core ef underscore migration dot models folder, crop, double tab, I'm adding db set. The T entity is I'm adding my model name which is a student class name, and the property is a student object. That's it. Let's build the application first. Build, and it's got the build succeeded. Now let's add the migration functionality. So for that, go to tools, notice a NetJet package manager console, select that one, and here in the bottom we got the package manager console. So here we add one command called add migration. I'm adding student table, enter. So build started and succeeded. So here the student table migration is created successfully. And also notice in the project we got the migration folder is added automatically when I run this command. Now let's check in our database. When I refresh this folder, expand the tables folder, notice we don't have any tables, the migration tables in this Charan database. Now let's update the database. Again switch over to the Visual Studio. Let's update database. Update -database, enter. Build started and build succeeded, and we got a message done. Let's refresh the folder in our database. Children database, I'm selecting refresh. Let's expand the tables folder. See, here we got the entity framework migrations, and this is the student object the table name is. Let me expand the student object table. I'll check the column names: student ID, student name, and email. Notice the primary key. Now let's run this table. Select top 1000 rows. See, here we got the output of the student object table. Right now this table contains 0 rows. That's it. In this video I have showed in ASP.NET Core applications using first entity framework how to create the migration tables in SQL Server Management Studio.